And I mean, 3, 2, 1, give it to him, Becca.
Hey, I'm about to give it to you, Internet. Hello, and welcome to tonight's episode of Too Funny Feedback Mike. My name is Becca, and co-hosting the show with me tonight, as always, is Liza. Lisa, oh my God, we're off to a great start. I'm gonna sign off. Great night, everybody. Tonight, each of our comedians will be performing a 5-minute set. If you want to keep track of how much time is left, just switch to gallery view and look at sad clock. After your set, Lisa and I will give about 5 minutes of feedback before moving on to the next comedian. Lisa will focus on performance and delivery while I focus on writing in our feedback. While we invite discussion during your allotted time, if we don't have time to address your concerns, just reach out and we'll be happy to go into more depth. Now, to our fantastic audience, I know that there are millions of you watching right now, so listen up. Keep in mind that as we get started, that our intention is to facilitate the growth of the comedians who come to us with varying levels of experience. Also, comedy is subjective, so you may not agree with us, and that's fine. We also are learning how to give good feedback. Additionally, if you enjoy the show and want to support the stream, please consider making a donation of any size or follow us by visiting districtcomedy.io. With that, let's get this party started. Please welcome our first comedian this evening. Put your hands together for Is She Back? Going to gallery. All right. Oh, did she leave? Okay.
Yes, it's Sonia.
All right, everybody, give it up for Sonia!
Woo!
Oh, I'm not who you expected, and I'm really glad to be here, so thanks. Yeah, I'm Sonia, and I will wear covering from the head to toe to the beach years old. That's right. You know, I'm in my 30s because I have the big floppy hat, I have the shirt that covers my arms, I have the pants out on the beach, and I'm avoiding the sun at all costs. But my skin has a whole different idea. It's like a horny teenager at its first unchaperoned party. It just not help itself. Oh, it takes on this whole personality of its own. Hey, son, just look at that little stretch of wrist that's exposed. Because that's all I'm going to let through. Sometimes you think you don't need that protection because there's clouds out. It's fine, you think. I'll just be out there for a couple minutes. I'll pull out after a couple minutes. But you're not. Some of that sun gets through. So before you plunge into the sun, put on the sunscreen, put on the hat. Don't go out there unprotected. It's not safe. Use some protection, cover yourself up, and just put those things away. You're going to get a disease. And trust me, no one is going to pay for that medical treatment, honey. Not in America. I've seen posts from my friends in the UK who will talk about how grateful they are for the National Health Service. And you just don't see that in the United States. People aren't saying things like, thank you, Blue Cross, for keeping me on hold for 2 hours. Oh my God. Oh, Kaiser. So grateful to you for upping your premiums again. Oh. And Aetna, oh my gosh, wow. Thank you for refusing to pay for the absolutely necessary hemorrhoid cream. Universal healthcare, you know. Age isn't so much about a number, it's about phases of your life. So there's the I'm eating gluten phase, and then the I'm not eating gluten phase, and I'm eating dairy phase, and I'm avoiding dairy at all costs phase. My sister has just discovered craft beer for the first time years old. I've discovered how terrible craft beer makes my body feel years old. I have a couple of friends who are older than I am, and I used to go out with them, and they would order their dinner without cheese, without croutons. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you guys, those are the best parts. Like, what are you doing? That's never going to be me. I was like, I'm never going to do that. Those are what add flavor to life. And I bought like 27-year-old body was like a Hamilton reprise. Just you wait. Heartburn and hemorrhoids cream. We are waiting in the wings for you. I'm not a singer, as is clear, but I thought I would grace you all with that little bit. I've been a little obsessed with Hamilton. I did go out with some friends to have a beer actually while I was still in denial about not being able to drink it. And the bartender who must have been, I woke up under my beer pong table at Phi Theta Kappa years old, asked why we were there. And I told him it was my birthday, and proving that he had done too many keg stands in Chi Mega Theta, he said, let me guess. And I just had turned 31, mind you. And he said, 40? I was like, nah, bro. And then he said that proving that Chi Theta Tutu should really stop having people jump off of the roofs as part of the pledges. Oh yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell with the sun damage. And he said proving really that he should not belong in any frat. It's your birthday, so I can give you a discount. Take 10% off. And like the person that's been conditioned to make everyone like them, I said thank you and tipped him $1. It's been conditioned to make everyone like them.
Thanks,
I said thank you and tipped him $1.
All right, everybody, give it up for Sonia. Great job, Lisa. Do you wanna kick it off with feedback?
Sure.
Awesome.
Sonia, it's so good to see you. I really enjoyed this set. I really think you found, just because I've gotten to see you before and stuff, is that your pacing is really fun and nice and chill. Like, you made me like, I just felt like we're having conversation. It was so fun, and you just were so secure, and like it was so nicely delivered. It was sort of this wonderful confidence, but I wrote chill. Like, I loved how you just, and it really helped with I feel like it went really well with the material you were doing. It was really fun. I really loved it. So I loved nice at the beginning, accepting the moment of like, you weren't what we were expecting. Like, you just went with it, and it was a great way to just tie in that last moment, which is always a wonderful thing to do. I really loved, there was a lot of physicality. There were a lot of changes in this one for performance wise and delivery. And I really enjoyed it. I thought you found really good timing and pacing with that. And I think that's part of what I was trying to say earlier, maybe poorly, but I'm saying, like, it was really just, you took your time, I think is what I'm trying to say. And then you let us be in the story with you and find the laughs with you. And I think that it was really stellar. I loved the whole way you described just the little things like the hat and the sleeve, but then the way you did the wrist with the hey, and just the description. I know I don't want to get too much into Rebecca's area, but I thought how you described that whole part was just awesome. And how then you embodied it physically, just really complemented it and suited it well. But I loved that whole part. I thought that was done really well. I loved other things, like I loved the pull out, like just I loved all the way you were making innuendo, but not obvious. It was really fun. So it worked on one level, but it was also clever on another. I liked how you did the guy, or like, I'm trying to think, nice pace. I'm sort of looking at my things. The craft beer thing was really fun. All the ages. I just was saying, I feel like all the physicality really suited the pace and the rhythm and each joke. Getting to the Hamilton thing, which I loved, and I think it's very topical, and I think everyone will get it, because even if you haven't ever seen it, it's like one of those things. It's like you didn't, like, with, I think, a reference that used to be very, it was like Game of Thrones, even if you never watched it, or Harry Potter or things like that. So I think that's awesome. I would love you to have just a more dramatic or change with that. Like, you know, if you know how they stand, and even because it's not about like the tune you're gonna carry. It's really about the way you do it. It's sort of like, I feel like it's like a Sondheim thing, if you know musical theater, of like you can be a character. You don't have to have like this necessarily what we consider gorgeous voice. You can act your way through it. And I know you have that ability. I know you do. So like just committing and being like a Hamilton Rose, and like having that dramatic change of energy and sort of going for it, I think would just make it land even more like wonderfully, and like carry that joke all the way through, if that makes sense. But I really enjoyed it. I think that the energy was just wonderful. And I feel like you have a natural way of mirroring and making your physicality help your comedy, but without like overpowering it. Like they're paired well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job, Sonia. I definitely agree with everything that Lisa said. Also, I just feel like you and I are the same person, because today I was on the beach and completely covered up and sitting under an umbrella and still reapplying sunscreen every 2 hours. Like, and so I just, you talked about that, you talked about the diet, and just like, even though we're still young, we're still just like, you are not fucking with us right now. Sun, dairy, absolutely not. I see the games that you play. So I really like the content that you chose is just like so relatable for people our age. And I just, I think also just specifically women our age, where we're really like, I think with the sun and everything, we're really paying attention to that anti-aging, because, you know, we internalized misogyny and we're not allowed to get old. Anyway, so I loved your bit about just like this like the specific like your little like what did you call it, like a sliver of wrist or something like that. I'm wondering if you could call this like a very like erotic, sexy sliver of wrist. Like set it up as like this really like whatever like a horny teenager is like looking at, like they see like the side boob or a nip slip, but it's really their wrist, to go along with like what you're setting up with this horny pool party analogy that you're doing. I going into like the other thing that you have that is like also super relatable are just like the phases in people's lives. The age is not a number, it's the phase in your life. I really liked that content. I think that you could describe that as saying, because this could be a potential extra punchline of describing the phases of your diet, of like what food can you not eat right now. It's like, I'm in the phase where I can eat dairy. Now I'm in the phase where dairy makes my butt explode. And so I think that I just said your joke back to you, and I apologize for that. But I mean, just setting it up as making the observation, it's not just phases, it's phases of your diet that I think can make it a more specific observation, because it is a great observation, but just clarifying for it. Bottom arm instead of a side boob, Amira, that's so good. So that's just something to explore in setting up this new section of your set, which is really good, relatable content. Real quick, I want to say, when you were like, I know I'm not a strong singer, and then you like after singing Hamilton, listen up real quick. Lin-Manuel Miranda cannot sing, and that's why he wrote a rap musical. Okay, so like I just want to put that one out there. So with you singing Hamilton, like we all heard Hurricane, we know it's a skip. Okay, we know that's a skip. That's not really a note for you, that's just an observation that we all kind of know. Bless him. So with you talking about this, that's a note for Lynn. Yes, sad clock.
Lynn's
no, but Lynn's great. He goes on that stage, he goes on that big Broadway stage, and he sings his heart out. He does his best. And
if you write it, then you cast yourself. It's fantastic.
He's a goddamn genius. He can sing. He can sing whatever he wants. We'll let it.
Yes.
I loved him in Moana. You know.
Yes.
I'm getting off topic, and I'm so sorry.
Sorry, it's a more.
Listen to okay, so going into the third section of your set, where you talk about the frat boy, I think play around with like, I've heard you do this joke before, and it's good content. I think that you start to get a little tongue-tied because some of your things are some of your jokes will be like this phase, but the phase, the title for the phase is a little long, so you kind of like I noticed that you start to stumble a little bit. So I'm wondering if there's a way that you could shorten that phase so you can say it a little bit faster. And then I'm wondering if there's a way even of just like like the frat name that you have for him is 3 Greek alphabet letters. I'm wondering if you want to first call it 3 things and then just call it theta going forward, or zeta, or gamma, or something like that, just to keep it short, and help with your pacing, because it's good content. But yeah, last second join on. Okay, Liza and Becca. I'm okay with the last second join on, Liza, if you're okay with that.
I am.
Sorry, I'm reading
totally
comments and giving feedback.
That's okay.
But that's what I have, Sonia. That was like a really great set, and like you have like good, clear, very relatable sections of content. So great job there. Great job.
Thank you. Thanks so much, both of you. Thanks for the
Yeah.
feedback. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's all put our hands together one more time for Sonia and her beautiful skin that the sun has never seen.
Yep. Just a rest.
Okay, next up we have our beloved regular. Put your hands together for Amira I'm so sorry, Abu Al-Asud. Al-Assad, sorry. Thank you.
So how's everyone?
Pretty good.
Okay, great.
My therapist told me to ask, but I don't care. We're working on caring. All right. So I was like wearing this tight shirt before a date because I wanted it to go well. And my dad was like, "You're putting a sweater on, right? It's too tight." And I'm like, if the date goes well, it doesn't matter because it's coming off. Am I right, Dad? He just left me hanging. So my dad's diabetic, and I used to be really concerned about him, but then he got on my nerves. So I was like, "Do you want another piece of cake?" I think I need more setup. Okay. So my family and I went to the Dead Sea. It's like super dead there. My aunt was trying to warn us all, don't open your eyes, it'll burn really bad. But my dad doesn't like people telling him what to do, so he opened his eyes, and I'm like, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "I wanted to see the fish." You want to see something dead and empty? Why don't you look into my eyes? So my dad's a big fan of children's movies. One of his favorites is Aladdin, but he pronounces it Aladdin because we're Arab. So he'll get really into it. He'll make popcorn. He'll like pause it if he has to pee. Won't pause any other movie. He has this little drum over here, and he'll sing along. He'll be like, "I can show you the world shining." I'm like, "Hey, Dad, can I talk to you? I feel a bit lonely." He's like, "No, go away, and throws the drum at me. Some foreigners have problems pronouncing some words, but my dad has no problem calling me a whore. He goes back to singing. He's like, "One jump ahead of the hitman." I'm like, "What do you love about this movie so much?" Like, I think he wants Jasmine to be his secret daughter because he named my sister after her. And this princess is not even modest at all. Like, she wears a bikini top at dinner. She got married after an hour and 31 minutes. She stole an apple from the market, you guys. Like, she has an endangered animal as a pet. Who keeps tigers as pets? And she let Aladdin ride her carpet on the second date. Another one of his favorites is Annie. He'll sing along with that one too. He'll be like, tomorrow, I love you." And I'm like, "Hey, Dad, can I talk to you? I feel a bit suicidal." He's like, "No, go away, slut. I guess there won't be a tomorrow." So some people feel bad for when you lose your when people lose their wallet, but I feel bad for the people around them because they won't shut up about it. my dad lost his wallet. He was like calling all the lost and founds, and they're like, "So, sir, you lost your wallet?" And he's like, "Well, actually, it's just all my credit cards wrapped in a rubber band. Just forget about it. Order new cards." So I was talking to my dad when he just came back from Jordan after 2 months, and he was saying Jordan was so disturbing and annoying. They have like this like ice cream truck, but it sells like a lot of different things like ice cream, kerosene, potatoes, and they have like a megaphone like every 2 hours. Just get your ice cream, get your kerosene, get your potatoes. And he came back and I started talking to him about dating, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to Jordan. And then like as I was telling him about my dating stuff, he just kept grabbing his heart. He's like, oh, my heart hurts. And my sister's like, maybe you should stop talking. And I was like, no, I'm almost done. Yeah. So okay, I think that's all my dad stuff. So have you guys ever thought about how DJ Khaled was when he was a kid? Like his mom would be like, you gotta finish all your veggies, and he'd be like, not another one. So my ex and we're just staying friends now, but he keeps flirting with me, and I'm like, you can't have your cake and eat me too.
Yeah.
All right. I think everything has its place. Skunks eat decaying flesh. Rats eat garbage. Dating apps keep my therapist in business. So when you're Muslim, your favorite dating app is the no-fly list.
Oh.
I told my nephew he can use my debit card, and he said the password didn't work. And I'm like, it's the day that I make your mom make me strawberry cheesecake and I cry because I don't have a husband or kids. Oh yeah, July 4th, 1989. Got it. I have to change my password now. I keep telling everybody.
Woohoo! Give it up for
All right, everybody.
Abu Al-Assad. Yay!
Amazing.
All right, Rebecca, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'd love to. Amir, oh God, I just your delivery on we've heard like I've heard you do a lot of these jokes before, but your delivery is getting better and better and better. And I've noticed that like you've pared down the songs that you sing, and it's like just enough so we like catch on, and then you've pared it down in a really awesome way. So I just wanted to like celebrate that adjustment that you've done. Also, I love like kind of what you've done to the opening line that you've done where like my therapist is telling me to ask people, but I don't really care. So I think that that's like a fun twist on what you've been doing. So I just wanted to celebrate those like two observations of watching your material kind of progress. One quick thing that I think that it was just like I'm just gonna say it, but you're gonna be like, it was when you go to the Dead Sea, you got to mention that you're don't open your eyes underwater, just to clarify that joke. You skip the part, just don't open your eyes. So I just imagine people like at the Dead Sea just with their eyes closed. So just like one quick like thing just to clarify that joke for folks, but we all got it. An idea that I had, I don't know if I like it, but I'm gonna throw it out there for you. So when you like sing with your little drum, and then you say that your dad throws the drum at you, you could be like, and that's how I got it because I caught it. Nobody laughed. Forget it. I'm just gonna scratch that one off. Never mind.
I laughed. It was muted. It was muted, but I laughed. I liked it.
Thank you. So there's something to play with of just like your dad throws this thing at you and you somehow have it. It might just be fun to acknowledge. So first of all, the craziness of the ice cream truck that sells potatoes and kerosene. Wow, what a fun thing to talk about. In terms of rule of three, I would suggest exploring it going ice cream and potatoes because we're still in the food realm, and then hit kerosene. because potatoes is like ice cream and potatoes. And like you could even like see if like you can just let those two things like sit on their own and let potatoes maybe get a laugh and then go into kerosene and get an extra laugh there. Play around with that timing to see if you could get 2 laughs out of that rule of 3 right there. But it was really funny. One joke that I kind of wanted to flag for you that might need a little bit more clarification. And I think it's a new one because I know that your dad, like we've been listening to these jokes the last couple of months and everything, and your dad was like recently like in Jordan, you said American Airlines or Delta Airlines, which one is like your favorite airline because it's keeping him there.
Yes.
But now that he's back, this is kind of this new joke of like you're talking about your dating life, and you said it was like right after the potato kerosene truck, he would rather go back to Jordan than listen to you talking about your dating life. I'm wondering if that joke, that the punchline of that joke could be refined a little bit more of connecting that the way that you phrased it before, if you go back into the recording, because I don't remember it verbatim, but you didn't fully link it back to the truck of him like rather going back to like where they sell ice cream with kerosene than listen to your dating life. Just go back. I think that joke could just use a little bit more refinement of tying it back to the truck.
Maybe I could say, I'd rather hear that truck than you, or something like that. Like,
yeah, something like that, just to tie it all together, because you were doing all this really fun setup and then just tying it. Yeah.
I have a suggestion for that too. It's like, I suddenly remembered I need some kerosene. Maybe when he's hearing me saying that, you're like, he needs that. Suddenly remember I need kerosene. I need to go back. So, or something like, I don't know. There's something in there to tie it in. But yeah, I had the same thought. That's awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to, just while you were talking about that, I wanted to jump in on that.
Those were like just my like very nitpicky notes of like make sure that you say underwater, which like we know what the joke was, but like your content is really, really strong, and it's really fun watching. It just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So great work. I love the edit to your opening line, and I'll hand it over to Lisa.
Yeah, no, I think Rebecca covered pretty much a lot of like all this great stuff, and I agree with everything. Yeah, I love that you keep evolving that line, and I really like how about the therapist, and you're like, we're working on caring or something. Like, I loved that, like sort of a throwaway, and it just catches up. I know I love the evolution that you've had of that, and I think it really works, and that you keep working on it. I love the what was it? There was something at right, Dad, he left me hanging. And if your shirt is off, what else might be hanging? I don't know. That was just my thought. There's a place there. I don't know why my brain. I was like, what else is hanging? But like, there's something there. I love the Aladdin. Like I said, I think there's been a real evolution of your jokes and your stories you've gotten. You've edited it down, and you do the right amount of the song. Like I do. I agree with that. I think that you explored that joke, and you found like the moment where it's supposed to actually stop. And then also I have, and I'm sorry, my daughter's right next to me, and she's playing something. I have to tell her to turn this down. I apologize. Lula, please turn down your tablet. All right, this is how a single mom does comedy. All right, helps. Okay, so anyway, I love the whole Aladdin. I love how you do your like. I feel like I would like want to meet your dad. I don't know. There's like, I feel like the face I want to see. But I think you do such a good job of like switching in and out of that. And it's wonderful. But I had the same note about the rule of 3 about the truck. It made me think about, because landing, and there's something about potato, it's landing on an open vowel like that. I feel it if you put, because it's great, the 3 you put, but I agree with Rebecca on maybe changing up the order. And then like kerosene gets you off of the sort of the expectation, that rule of 3, and then connecting that joke. But honestly, I really just thought all of this was so good. It's fun, because it goes to the point where you can hear a joke multiple times, but with the delivery being fresh and present and things, it always will land. It will. That's why you love your favorite comedy special or whatever like that. I think that is awesome. And I think you've really worked on that. Like, it's great. The one thing this is my note, I think, is that we're saying the segues. I know you said, I think that's all my dad stuff. And you could always say like, for now, or like until I see him next, or, you know, like until we talk again, or, you know, make that segue, just making that when you, and I know it's because of the time and the workshopping. I'm just saying, thinking about the segue, and you had a lot of, you did the DJ Khalid thing, and then you went to the dating apps. I think you could move that dating stuff up in between your dad's stuff. Like, I feel like that might have a more, just in a place in it, or at least closer up in that, you know, talking, you know, my dad dating and this dating, and then maybe ending, you know, putting the Khalid thing maybe in a different spot. But I honestly, I thought it was a really strong set. And I do love that the dating app is the no fly list was just, that was a good
But
one. So
this is a picture of him.
I
One
can't
second.
really see him.
Yeah, I
It's
was
all
trying
very
to change.
bright.
There's the
Oh,
light.
there he is. He looks so kind.
Yeah.
I think the filter was trying to put lipstick on him because I have
Okay.
it. Like,
But thank you so much, Amira. Everybody give it up for Amira Abu Al-Assad. Yes. Thank you.
All right, up next, everybody. He joined us last minute. We are so grateful that he is here. Please put your hands together for Delfino Chavira.
Tavira. Yeah.
Chavira. Thank you so much.
Woo! Delfino.
All right. So I do my set, or I talk about her, you know, what I caught.
You do your set.
Okay. All right. I'm a feminist. I self-proclaimed feminist. It started when I was working at a gay bar, and I was walking around like a piece of meat. I felt fucking great. I was like, yes, sweetie, and you know, people were inviting me to the restroom all the time, and I was like, no, Colton, I'm not gonna do a line of coke off of your dick. I thought we were just here just to do a couple key bumps, but I gotta get back to work. Anyways, that to say, I also had a gay roommate who was an alcoholic, and we often drank together. And eventually, I started getting suspicious. I was like, why hasn't he tried to fuck me? Like, when I get really drunk, I get pretty horny, and I'm like, okay, let's see who, you know, who'd be willing. Um, and nothing, you know. So I even, you know, I'd wear like tight shirts when we'd be out drinking, these low cut shirts, and you know, I'd be like, ah, you're so crazy, Don. He, I do a shirtless hot yoga in the, you know, in the by his front door, just so like when he wakes up, it's just like, oh, is it already 12 o'clock? I didn't even realize. Yeah, let me just dry up really quick and get out of your way. Um, but I don't know. Maybe just he just has a shitty taste in men. Um, I talked to my therapist, and she told me to open up a lot more. Um, so I told her, it's like, hey, I do not want to take antidepressants anymore. Uh, I don't know if you guys know the side effects of antidepressants, but we don't like it, and I can assure you, you won't either. Um, so so she suggested microdosing, and I was like, okay, cool. For a Craigslist therapist, you're pretty cool. So she suggested microdosing shrooms, and now I'm just running around the park like, hey, buddy, come here, buddy, with this like huge erection, and my friends are just like chasing me down, and they're like, dude, you do not have a dog. Nobody liked this, and I'm pretty sure that this is a felony. Another thing about me, speaking of felonies, this comes off October 5th. Fun fact. So I'm gonna get really drunk October 5th and 6th. So another thing about me is I've been arrested a lot of times, and I got really good at it. I got so good at it that, well, let me tell you this: I got arrested most of the times for Xanax. I'm a Xanax guy. I don't know. Some people like the white wine. Some people like Xanax. Basically the same thing. Uh, so I've been arrested so many times that I I had woken up from jail just to be released. So while I was in there, I got booked. I saw the judge, and I did all the paperwork necessary to, including referrals, um, to get myself out. And also, I might have spoken with a lawyer. I'm not sure, but I don't know how proud I am. I should be of this. Also, I wanted to start off by saying, "Hey guys," because I was in a car accident or like earlier. Anyways, that was my jokes. Thank you so much for listening.
Woo, give it up for Delfino. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
Yeah, no. So what's going to happen? I'm going to give some feedback. Rebecca's going to
Mhm.
give some feedback. If we have the moment to talk, we can. But and earlier on, like if you want to get into more depth, then you just can give a shout out through email or Facebook through districtcomedy.io. So but I liked your opening. I thought that was funny. It's like I'm a feminist. I thought that was really got like we started off really strong and going through that. Thinking that I like talking about the tight shirt and things like that. I feel like that's something you can even like, and you were doing a little bit of it, but you get even more into it with sort of the physicality of that. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And thank you. A physicality of that and how you would maybe do the stance and how you would change that sort of, your demeanor would change. Because you have this
Mhm.
really good way, I've noticed through the whole set, you sort of have this sort of like very storytelling kind of way we're kind of going with you. It's kind of like loose. Say it's a technical term, loosey goosey in some respects of like very like oh, okay, we're just and then you hit us with like a really funny sort of punchline without us knowing it. You know what I mean? It's sort of this like and maybe he's in Shitty Men, kind of like that or
Yeah.
that whole thing. I really I thought that that's a really nice thing I noticed about your comedy. What I would suggest is just tightening things up sometimes because of the pausing and sort of like I feel like we're winding through it together and it's a great style and I haven't said it tonight but I'm going to say
Mhm.
POV. It's called point of view and you
Mhm.
have a very distinct one. I really enjoy that. Like you have this really chill manner and you're sort of like I'm here present with you and I'm going to tell you this story and then we have these like really funny, kind of off guard and like, like sort of abrupt but fun punchlines that sort of get done. And but I think that working on that the pausing in between some of the stories or connecting the dots can just be a little bit shorter so we don't lose the trail of it with you. Does that if that makes sense?
Mhm.
I think also like definitely
Yeah,
at the
like trimming the fat. Type of.
yeah, editing it down and just like because we're with you, but and I don't want you to ever change your sort of like you say point of view, definitely who you are and
Mhm.
your energy and your but I think that just tightening the pacing and the timing a bit will keep the energy going just a little bit so that we'll keeping it moving forward and we'll even hear that joke land even in stronger if that makes sense. I liked fun fact. I liked the different things. I would make a suggestion. I'm sorry, Rebecca, because the rule of three, the white wine and Xanax. You can throw something else in there. Some people
Mhm.
like this, some people like that, some people like Xanax. But there's a really good opportunity for rule of three. And there's a rule like even when you're talking about you're in jail, you can feel like I did this, maybe I did this for some reason, like something weird that you might do in jail that would take up a lot of time or something that we'd be like I could have built IKEA furniture during the time, like things that would take like be involved, like I did all of these things. I like that
We
you
made
have it
a
like
New Year's Eve cake
like I did all of these things.
when I was in jail.
See things
Because
like
because
that.
I was there on New Year's Eve, so everyone like gathered their stuff together and
Yeah,
we made a New Year's Eve cake.
That's
wasn't that bad.
fascinating. And I don't even know what ingredients would be in a jail New Year's Eve cake. I feel like there's
Like
so much
Gatorade
possibility.
cookies.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane. Cracker. I don't know.
But that's really fantastic. Like stuff like that. And those, so I love the stories, and then suddenly how you sort of like, we land with this really funny thought at the end. And especially that last part with just tying the pausing together so we can just connect those dots with you a little bit better. And I should start off, should say, oh, I should have told you at the beginning, because we're right at the end of your set. I would just suggest like, I should start off and you can get up there and show us and talk about how that, and I'm sorry you were in an accident. But I kind of,
It's okay.
but sort of just tying that in earlier and making it a part of your set, or at least acknowledging like, oh, I should start off with this, and that means I'll remember none of this, or maybe I'm, like something like that, or tying that in. But I love your energy, and I look forward to seeing, like, if you come back, and we always welcome, but seeing just how the stories about the New Year's Eve cake in jail, but also just taking that, because I like your journey, but just like I said, trimming the fat, as you said. I really like that term. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That was
awesome.
amazing.
I love everything that Lisa said, and I really like your tone, like your demeanor is really, really cool, and very like this like sexy, mischievous kind of thing. So like whenever you do kind of deliver a punchline, it's kind of this like side eye, eyebrow raise kind of thing, and we all are like, you're so cool and I want your approval. So like you do have this like really awesome presence that I'm just gonna double down on what like Lisa already said. I had some ideas. Take them or leave them. So first of all, you were kind of already doing this. I just kind of want to like flag it for you to maybe go a little bit further in this direction. So when you say the line of like you're drinking with your roommate, and then I started to get a little suspicious, and then you had this long pause. And when we hear suspicious, this is before you kind of like went into like talking about having a lot of sex and being horny and everything like that. But you were just like, I'm getting a little suspicious. And so we were like thinking like, what is your roommate gonna do? Is he stealing from you? Is he doing this? And you're like, why isn't he trying to fuck me? And so like, I think that with like your delivery of I'm getting suspicious, if you want to like give it in a way that you're insinuating that it has nothing to do with where you're eventually going to take it of why isn't he trying to fuck me? But like, I'm getting suspicious that
But he's like doing other shady shit.
Yeah. Like he's doing something malicious, but really like, why is he not trying to suck my dick? So like you were already going in that direction, and it was funny. I just want to like, I wanted to flag it so you could like lean into it a little bit more with that tone. So I love that you just like, you presented your anklet. I loved that visual so much. And you were like, it's coming off, and you said a couple of months. I think it might be kind of fun. Like when people like do their sets and everything, they're like, I've been married for 4 years, and everybody like they present it in a way to like that we clap for them.
Yeah.
Or like, I've been sober for 3 months, and everybody claps. Like you could present your ankle and it says it's coming off in 3 months to like get. I think that might be a really fun way to like engage the audience. Just something to maybe consider. Also, I loved Lisa's suggestion of when you're talking about Xanax, of like some people like white wine, some people like this. I like Xanax. I wrote down, because I love when somebody like says that they're really into something, that they like love alliteration with it. I'm trying to think of like an example of what I'm saying, but just like, oh, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but like when you're a big fan of something, and anyway, I wrote down that you could use the phrase that you're a Xanax zaddy, if you wanted, of just saying like that's how much into Xanax that you were, but just kind of like trivializing of just like, it's cute. I like how like white women talk about like white wine of just like, I like my rosé and stuff like that. But you're like, I like my Xanax. I'm a Xanax zaddy, kind of thing. Just kind of like leaning into that. Some people like white wine. I like Xanax. These are just ideas for you, but you've got some really stuff, and I definitely I would agree with like the suggestions that Lisa gave of just like there were some pauses that could just be shortened a little bit so that we stay with you on the track and everything. But you've got this really awesome demeanor that's very commanding and really awesome life experience that like a lot of people who come in here don't have, that we want to hear about. So it was definitely a pleasure having you, and fantastic set. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You guys I'm over here proud of myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Everybody should applaud themselves. Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, thank y'all so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love, if we're in gallery view right now, we might not be, but Amira has a fantastic, adorable profile picture up right now that I just want to bring our attention to before we close out. Okay, I wanted to say a big thank you to my co-host Lisa and to the comedians who were being so open to feedback and bringing in some fantastic material today. And of course to our awesome audience. Again, if you want to support the stream, you can do so at districtcomedy.io. And if you want to be on the show, you can sign up using that same link. So we'll see